we're going to spend the last 5 minutes of class. If you're quiet, I'm going to give you an assignment. Talking about dividing fractions. And dividing fractions is a little on the interesting side because of this. 1 divided by 1/2 is what number? Now think about this just for a second. If you have one thing, let's say I have my one circle. Let's do my one circle over here where we'll draw. And I cut it into halves. I'm asking how many halves are in one circle. So 1 divided by 1/2, which doesn't make a lot of sense to most people because you get 2. When you take one thing and cut it, how many 1/2s can you get out of one thing? You can get 2 of them. Okay, that's why if you went home, and please do this just because I like your parents to think a little bit. If you go ask your parents what 8 divided by 1/2 is, I would say 90% of them are going to say 4. But that's not true because that's 8 divided by 2. That's half of 8. If you want to know how many 1/2s are in 8, you have 8 apples and you cut it in half, how many pieces are you going to end up with? 16. Huh? Well, that's only when we do halves, though. Now, you're catching on, Taylor. Keep that same thought, because this. What if I have 1 and divide it by 1/3? You take 1 apple, cut it into thirds. How many thirds are in 1?
3.
Three.
So it's kind of like multiplying.
Now we're getting closer.
It's times.
Now, wait. Right, I think you've got it there, except for this one little thing. What if I said 1 divided by 2/3?
Oh.
Now, here's what you're going to say. If I asked you how many 2/3 you can take out of 1, let's do that. Here's my 1, and I am splitting it into thirds, correct?
Yeah.
Because that's my bottom number. I want to know how many 2/3 I can get, so that means I take away this one and this one. That's 1 2/3 right there, right? That's 2 of the 3 pieces. I know I have 1, but now I have to figure out what this piece is left right here that I'm not accounted for. Okay. I want to know how many 2/3. This little chunk right here is how many 2/3?
1.
No.
1.
It's half of the 2/3 because this is the same as this, which is half of that 2/3. It's 1 and 1/2.
Awesome.
Now,
Got it.
stop and just listen here, because for all of you that are way confused on this, you don't have to understand why. This is kind of why it happens, but there's a really easy way to divide by fraction, and Taylor hit up on it, and Josh hit upon it, or whatever.
You did?
Yeah. What's another way? What's the improper fraction of this? 1 and 1/2 is what? Improper fraction. Have we done improper fractions?
Yeah.
Remember, multiply by this at the top.
3.
Wait. What is 3 as a fraction?
3 1.
What do you notice about this and this? And then what do you notice about this and this? The last thing you're going to write down is this. We'll talk about this tomorrow, but this is it. Write this down in big letters here.
Big boy letters.
To divide by a fraction. To divide by a fraction, you multiply by its reciprocal. Or in other words, you just flip and multiply by the second fraction. Flip and multiply by the second fraction. Okay? It's just that easy. In other words, here, when I did this problem, rather than you drawing out the whole thing and trying to get, because you'll get way confused at that. 1 divided by 2/3 is the same thing as 1 times 3/2. So you end up 1 times 3/2 is 3/2, and 3/2 is 1 1/2. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. We'll catch that all tomorrow.